Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another inspiring episode of Desi Dynamos, stories of Indian-American Trailblazers, and you are in season 1. Today, Meenamma is thrilled to introduce a true innovator in healthcare technology, a visionary whose journey from India to America has not just revolutionized patient care, but also created a lasting global impact. Please join me in welcoming Raj Toleti, the CEO and the chairman of Andor Health. Raj's story is a testament to the power of innovation and perseverance. With over 20 years of experience in healthcare technology, he has consistently pioneered solutions that improve patient engagement and empower caretakers and teams to work more efficiently. His entrepreneurial spirit has led to the creation of groundbreaking companies, including HealthGrid, a mobile patient engagement platform that was much ahead of its time, which was later acquired by Allscripts. Raj's ability to foresee the future of healthcare has made him an influential figure in this industry, earning him the prestigious Ernst Young Entrepreneur of the Year award. Coming from India, from a little city called Visakhapatnam, establishing himself as a global leader in healthcare technology, Raj has used his background to bridge gaps between cultures and industries. His ventures, such as Galvanon and the Cytura Corporation, have not just transformed the healthcare systems in the United States, but have set new standards for patient care worldwide. His journey from India to becoming this celebrated figure in the healthcare IT area reflects the strength and determination that many Indian Americans bring to the global stage, creating a lasting legacy for both themselves, society at large, and India is proud of each of them. Raj's influence, ladies and gentlemen, extends much beyond his companies. He's deeply committed to shaping the future of healthcare through his involvement on boards like the University of Central Florida Foundation and Chime. His vision is as global as it is personal, rooted in the belief that technology can only be a key to building a better, more compassionate healthcare system for anyone. So without much further ado, let's welcome a true Desi Dynamo, young, charming, and my very favorite from childhood, the one and only Raj Toleti. Raj, welcome to Meenamma's show. How do you feel?
First of all, thank you. That was quite the introduction. I'm first of all, it's very gratifying, to come from somebody like you. I've always looked up to you growing up, know your family. So thank you again, Meenakshi, for having me on the show. And I'm very, very excited to actually share some of my background, my story, and yes, and a lot about what Vizag gave me as I grew up there.
Raj, when I look at you, when I talk to you, I go back many, many years to that sweet boy in my city, Vizag. Can you share some insights of your early years? See, you are the product of two beautiful people. Your father and your mother, they were leaders beyond their times. And for me personally, both of them have impacted my life. And I'm grateful to Tambugaru and Dr. Padmavati, what he has done for us personally and professionally. But you are the product of that vibrant combination. What are the pivotal moments or influences from your family that have sparked your interest in technology? See, you've come a long way. And entrepreneurship, two powerful words, Raj.
Well, I mean, it's absolutely. I think my parents are everything to me, and they've given whatever I have. But I think growing up around my dad and my mom, who was the chief medical officer for Andor University for 40 years, a woman entrepreneur like you in those days, and my dad whose creativity, as you know, most people from Vice, I think I started being groomed um, as an entrepreneur, as a public speaker. I just didn't know what I was being groomed for. Just watching my parents actually hustle, build something from nothing, and actually sustain such a, not just a lifestyle, but basically an image in society. I just didn't know what I was learning, but I think right from I was like maybe a teenager, I think all of the things that they taught without teaching me, but watching them actually do the things they did, I think helped me become who I am.
Do you still remember the little Raj in a house where there were so many people doing great work? Little Raj must have been groping around to see, now, what do I emulate? What do I do? Do you still remember that little boy? And what do you think would have influenced him to get into healthcare? I mean, that is the buzzword today, isn't it?
Well, I mean, Meenakshi, my parents are both physicians. My grandparents, both my grandfathers were physicians. I think I have about 33 doctors in my family. So I kind
Wow.
of I grew up around hospitals, healthcare, research in healthcare. My mother's sisters, siblings, all in pathology, oncology. So for me, healthcare was something. It was always a calling. So even though I didn't become a doctor, and I'm sure my parents were like, well, they're not disappointed, but at least they knew that I think they were happy when I started actually providing, solutions to healthcare institutions across the globe. So I think there's a lot of history in my family around actually providing solutions in healthcare. I mean, again, even in the U.S., my mom's older brother, etc. So I think I naturally gravitated to actually providing technology solutions in healthcare. One of my first jobs was actually at Microsoft Healthcare. So
Wow.
it actually kind of helped me understand that this is my passion and this is where I want to be. But that's kind of like where I think the healthcare tech came from, is actually the passion to provide solutions in this field.
Raj, you did an engineering degree in Andhra University in Vizag, isn't it? And after that,
Well,
you came to where did you study your undergrad?
yeah, so my undergrad degree was at PSG College of Technology in Coimbatore.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay, great.
I
Mhm.
graduated from Coimbatore PSG Tech. No,
Coimbatore.
I
Mhm.
did go to Andhra University for 1 year and then I transferred to PSG.
Oh, yes. Okay. PSG
Yeah,
is a great place.
yeah.
Tell me about how you flew across the oceans and how you came to this land of opportunity. This whole program is about the diaspora. You have made us proud, all of you, each one of you. And India, actually, the Indians, the migrant Indians, represent the largest chunk of the diaspora. And we also represent the largest chunk of people who have done well for people who came to the US. So tell me about your journey. How did you reach the shores of the United States? How did the land of opportunity welcome you? What did you do here?
Yeah, I mean, actually, my mother was visiting the US and she actually applied on my behalf. So,
Oh,
so I
there she goes.
actually, yeah, so I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree. But I came here for, aerospace engineering here to Florida. So my journey here was actually to get a master's in industrial engineering. But because we are so close to NASA and some of the projects that we worked on, I was lucky enough to work on some AI projects for autonomous vehicles in '92. So we were very early. There's a lot of research in this research corridor between the east coast of Florida and west coast of Florida. So I was fortunate enough to be picked into one of those research programs, and that kind of transitioned my career from pure
Career.
engineering to software engineering. So
So it was IT after some time. I mean, it was a beautiful transition. I think coming from the time that you were here, the
yeah,
world was opening up to information technology. It was a good time. It was the buzzword, and you were there at the right place at the right time. But
yeah,
you are recognized as a healthcare technology visionary, Raj. I was speaking to a few people and the people you know, and they were talking very highly about you for two things.
thank
One
you.
is your finger is always on the pulse. You know which company is doing how. You know where to invest and where to sell. You know which one, it's almost like you're an astrologer for the entire group. So many people feel that you're a very lucky player here. But what inspired you to begin working in healthcare information technology? And how did your journey into patient facing technology, it's a very beautiful thing, patient facing technology, evolve?
Yeah, I think, it's a global problem. For me, my passion was to actually make the way physicians or clinicians work so much more efficient and easy. And also accessing care has always been a problem for patients. It's whether it's in the United States or in India, it's very confusing. There's so much data. So what can we do to help patients access care better? So like, in most other industries, you don't need to go to a bank. You can go to the ATM. You can pay your bill online. So there's so many things that we call as consumer self-service was never adopted or adapted into healthcare. So
Yes.
there's a lot of opportunity in healthcare to actually automate processes and streamline so that patients can get better care. And for me personally, I've seen a lot of my family members, including and people that have a lot of access to healthcare, that are very confused when it comes to how to go to the right endpoint.
Correct.
So yeah, so I have I lost my father to cancer. There's a lot of people in my life that basically suffered quite a bit because they were not able to get to the right point of care. So that kind of triggered some of my passion, but also on the other side of the coin is like, how do I make the physicians do less documentation and actually interface with the patients more? Because every doctor is busy. And no matter which country you go, you're waiting for your doctor once you go
Yes.
there. So how do I
True.
actually compress that time? So those are some life lessons and life stories that actually kind of help me focus more on solving those problems. And patient engagement is very key because the number of patients that are actually engaged in their care even today is a very small percentage. So statistically, it's not a significant percentage of patients that are actually truly engaged in their care. So what can we provide? What tools can we provide to help engage the patients better was always been, in the back of my mind. And it's a journey. It's not a destination. So as I've created different companies or technologies, I still feel that there's so much to be done in this space.
Every company that you create is like a baby. It's like going through the delivery of a new child. But
Yes.
only thing that remains common is the vision of the parent who's creating it. So, as the CEO and the chairman of Andor Health, how does your company's vision address some of the biggest challenges in healthcare today, like clinical, turnouts or improving patient access, things like that? What is the vision that has remained common over many companies that you have worked with?
Yeah, I think a common theme for me has been there are multiple point solutions, meaning when a patient has to access care, they might use a patient portal for some registration purposes. They might be getting reminders from 3 or 4 different technologies. So our mission was to create a platform. There's one singular platform that can sit on top of help patients access care more in an automated manner. But on the back end, there are also multiple solutions that these caregivers use to provide care. So our mission was how can we actually automate this in a more intelligent manner? So in 2019, I was very enamored by this thing called OpenAI and generative AI that Microsoft was investing in. So we went to Microsoft and we said, hey, this thing that you're building called Microsoft Teams, how can we actually have a AI bot start the meeting and bring electronic medical content so that a patient and physician can be interfacing, but the content is actually served automatically to the care team member as well to the patient. So that was kind of the genesis. But then we saw the opportunity that where AI and generative AI can help document all of the interaction. We can actually use computer vision and other techniques to observe the patient. And then we also figured out that through AI, we can even bring the right people to the care setting. So that's how we started in 2019. Obviously, we were too early. It was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now everybody knows what Chat GPT is, but we kind of built these Chat GPTs, Copilots for healthcare. That's what Andor does.
Well, today, it's almost like the mobile is part of it's an accessory, it's an extended part of our limb.
Right.
But you are a pioneer in HealthGrid. I remember the word HealthGrid, a mobile patient engagement platform. Now, you are a pioneer. I mean, nobody can deny that what you did in creating HealthGrid. How did you foresee the role of mobile technology in healthcare, and what challenges would you have faced while developing it? Because at that time, the mobile was just another phone, isn't it? But you gave it a different connotation.
Yeah, I think if you think about healthcare, they're older people, right? So it's this 50%, 60% of the patients are over 50 years of age. So when you think about those populations, having an app for every interaction is very, very difficult. So we kind of said, why don't we just text the patients with a link, and whether they have an app or not, they should be able to click the link. They should be able to check in for an appointment, ask for an appointment, ask for a refill. So we kind of leapfrog the app download piece, and we were able to meet the patients where they are, as opposed to requiring the patients to come and seek certain applications, whether it's on the Apple Store or whatever. So that was to make it simple, basically. And then how can we get 63 years of age or 73 years of age of patients actually use this technology? It has to be very simple. So it was a lot of fun. We got a lot of patient engagement, and I think now there's so much of that technology that's kind of baked into a lot what we see today.
And you successfully led a number of multiple healthcare tech companies, such as Galvin and Cytura, to name a few. What are the lessons from those early ventures that you had handled? What are the lessons you learned, and do they still apply today? As a leader, do you still apply any rules that you learned those days? Because now everything is changing so fast.
I think there's some basic principles in life or in business that always hold true, right? So, I mean, to me, it's about my team. It's actually creating a team where you have less than 2% attrition, building a team, hiring people who are better than you, empowering people. Some of the things that I've learned over the years is basically that team building. You can get better at it. Every time you do something different. But it's also like Groundhog Day. In a startup. So it's the same grind. You have to have a stomach for it. So if you're not, and sometimes my wife thinks I'm a glutton for punishment, but basically a startup is a startup, no matter how you look at it. So like taking risks, but also taking the right risks. So there's so many lessons I've learned, through my journey with these companies. But at the end of the day, if I have to sum it up, is the biggest risk you can take is not taking a risk at all, right?
That's very true.
Yeah, and then the second part is really having the right team is really key to, I think, any startup. So anyway, so those two are something that I kind of keep improving upon.
When you came to the land of opportunity and you started your journey here, there must have been something you saw. And the great America, the story, everybody wants to be here to learn, to earn, to make their own niche. How did America respond to you? How did you feel about the people, the culture, the whole ecosystem? America is a great country that has opened its arms to many of us and let us grow. But when you came here, what was the feeling, and how has it been over the last so many years? Because now you're American at heart.
Well, I'll always be an Indian, no matter how many years I've lived here. But I think America is just a brilliant country, in my opinion. There are so many people that helped me, right from my first boss to every company that actually acquired my business that I partnered with. I think there's this openness to actually for innovation, and I think it's all about again taking those risks. You can actually take risks in a way around innovation. The partners, whether it's the hospital or the National Institute of Health, whoever that we're partnering up with, I think in the US that there's just a lot of appetite for taking risks. And over the years, I've built some beautiful friendships, relationships that are they're as part of my extended family. So I feel very grateful that some of my friends and some of this ecosystem has helped me do what I'm able to do today.
Raj, when we look at America today, especially when we have family here, we realize healthcare is the biggest deal here. I mean, it's the industry, it's the center of everything. So, the healthcare system, whether it's your insurance policies or your patient interactions or the hospital care, it is the lifeline of the country, and they do such a great job at it. As an Indian American leader in this area of healthcare technology, how do you see the future of healthcare evolving in both the US and back home at India? Do you see anything that is coming out, any opportunities for cross-border collaborations that could drive innovation? Have you ever thought about it? Have you seen the bright side of this?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you look at the number of physicians, the percentage of physicians in the United States, I think I saw a stat of like 60 or 70% are from the Indian subcontinent. I mean,
Yes.
that's a pretty staggering stat by itself, right? And the contributions of Indian Americans in all fields, whether it's in the provider segment, in the life sciences, in pharmaceuticals, or in the insurance companies, you have a lot of Indian Americans who are executive leaders in all these spaces. And also, I think there's already a significant partnership from India because the business process outsourcing, whether it is for revenue cycle management or other back office functions, India is helping, cut out a lot of cost in the healthcare system. Those back office operations, if they were not with a partnership like a country like India, would have been significantly more expensive. And now, if you look at pharmaceuticals, right? I mean, basically, India is, second to none.
Yes.
I think drug discovery, drug innovation, and then when it comes to technology, I think we have a little ways to go. And that's to me, I aspire to actually build my next product from India so that I can have a certificate of
Wow.
origin from India. So
Yes.
I think we as in India we have a lot of services businesses, and I'm a product guy from a technology standpoint of view. So I think one of my aspirations is to actually build the next technology platform invented in India, but actually distributed, globally.
Across the world. Wonderful. Now, going with what you just said, given your global perspective, what are the biggest opportunities for healthcare technology to make an impact in India, especially in terms of accessibility and patient engagement? I think these are the two words that have been your mantra:
Yeah,
accessibility, patient interaction, and
yeah.
engagement. So, what do you think are the opportunities available now for India?
I think just globally, at least the way that I see it is there's this what we're calling them as clinical co-pilots. So in your phone, there's a co-pilot that can assist you with your care plan, with your where you are in your care journey, and we also feel it's going to fundamentally change the AI clinical co-pilots. They're going to change how physicians and nurses actually work. So today, it's actually around an electronic medical record. It's a very monolithic transactional system, which can be unpacked. and actually and the workload can be distributed and can be assisted through this AI clinical copilot. So I think there's a significant opportunity for those AI kind of bots that can actually reduce the cost of this technology for countries like India, and actually it would make it easier for more clinicians to adapt and adopt these technologies going forward. So I think it's going to be fun over the next 5 to 6 years to see how technology can change, how care teams collaborate.
India has a very unique landscape, especially in the healthcare area. We have both public and private sectors for healthcare, if you've noticed. Yeah. What role do you think that the private healthcare technologies company should play? What is their role to improve the overall system? And how can they work with the government? There will be a lot of government agencies watching us today. So how does a private agency, if there's somebody from the chamber wants to know, and I'm sure there are many people who want to know the answer, how can we do this?
Well, I think, there's certain projects in India that have been very successful, like the eSanjeevani project, which is by the central government. It's actually a telehealth virtual care initiative. And I think, like in India, as you know, in the villages and the other places, access to some specialists is always a challenge. So how do you actually have access to care democratized? So how do you actually do that is actually through having, this virtual care collaboration platforms. Where you have literacy issues, how can AI can just become, instead of you having to type something, can you just talk to this piece of glass? And then, any citizen can actually access care at the same levels that, a more educated person could. I think the private-public partnership, even in the United States, I think there is always that opportunity for private companies in India to be able to on-demand provide virtual services to remote areas in India. I think some of that is starting to happen through some of these collaborative initiatives, but also there is like a lot of these second opinion, third opinion kind of visits that can be done globally. Right. Okay. So I think we'll see a little bit of that, also take off a little bit. But I don't know if I answered your question or not, but there are definitely some initiatives that we see that virtual care collaboration is what will probably help kind of leapfrog for India into the kind of the next phase of democratizing care, and actually also build partnerships between private and public institutions.
Yes, I see the point. Yes, true. Raj, you served this industry in advisory roles for various healthcare organizations. How was your involvement in the leadership on the board of UCF, the foundation, and CHIME, CHIME? How has it shaped your perspective and the future of the healthcare information technology? And these are very big boards to belong to.
Well, my involvement with the UCF is, I'm one of the sponsors or founders of something called the India Center. Wow. So my passion was to actually have cultural exchange. So India Center, UCF is the second largest university in the country with almost 70,000 students. So I think we're actually trying to do a lot through the India Center, not just in healthcare, but in hospitality, etc. So that's been a passion to say, how do you actually set up these India Centers across the US universities and actually promote more awareness about our culture and how we can exchange pretty much everything we want to. Yeah.
Yes. And the CHIME, see, you've also been very actively involved in leadership roles in CHIME. So, every organization has actually taken from you, and you've learned to lead them through example. So that has been a very good part of your life because you've sat on the leadership table very early, isn't it, right? And tell me, what did it mean to you? If I say, some people think awards are meaningless, but what if I tell you that an award like the Entrepreneur of the Year in your field of healthcare, given by Ernst Young, I think it's a moment I would just stop and feel that life was worth living for in that moment. How did this accolade influence your entrepreneurial journey? I mean, this really inspires, isn't it?
Well, at least I can show my award to my high school principal, Ms. Jayarajan, and say that I didn't actually do that bad. So, but I think it was very gratifying, and especially coming from a family of physicians. And my dad, when I first joined Microsoft, he didn't even know what Microsoft was. Right, he's a physician.
Oh
So
my
I
God,
think,
really?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like, you're an engineer. What are you doing in this company called Microsoft, right? So I think it took me a couple of decades to prove that I didn't mess up that bad. So, but yes, yeah, no, it was gratifying. I think, uh, and for me, it's also setting an example for my children. So I tried to retire 3 times. I cannot. The one thing that my parents taught me is basically they showed me how hard they work, and so I think anything that we teach our kids is by example. So I think I look at it from that perspective, is to help the next generation. So I'm actually very passionate about that. Even in the India Center, I actually run an internship program. I run it myself. So some of the things that I do with the kids on the side, I think are very meaningful for me to actually get some of these awards and actually, help motivate them to actually, be impressionable. So
Raj, you married one of the most beautiful girls, your childhood sweetheart. I still remember that pretty girl. She was a woman of substance even those days, and I see that she's been a large part of your growth. Tell us about your family, about Aparna and the two little boys that you have made, and what is the vision that you want for your family per se, the unit in your house?
well, I grew up around very strong women, right? My mom,
Yes.
and now it's my wife, my daughter. So I think, well, I don't know why she married me, but I don't want to ask questions. I accepted it, and it's been over 35 years we've been married. So I think, it's everything that I do. Obviously, it's all because of how she supports me, or how my kids support me. So it's been just a wonderful, that's number one for me, right? We work for the family first, and then we work for everything else. Yeah, and
Raj,
we're always.
yeah, you are known to throw some of the best parties. Many people enjoy your company at a party. So you know how to clink your glass while doing your homework in your house and making sure that everything is ready so that the party can be a part of extension of life. How do you
Where
balance
did you
that?
hear that? Where did you hear that award from?
Many of your friends said, Raj is such a balanced guy. He's able to balance his work, his family, his his own personal space, and that's very difficult in today's world. Many of us tend to forget that we also have to be alive. But you have balanced it. What is your mantra, Raj? How do you manage this?
I think my wife is a saint, and she has a lot of patience. Probably that's definitely one of it. But a fun fact about, like, having fun is, I actually named my yacht after a street in Vizag where I grew up.
Wow, what was it?
Yeah, so I grew up in Andhra University in Sea Sands. So the boat's name is 21 Sea Sands. So
Wonderful.
two boys and a girl. So yes, we do a little bit of enjoyment and fun, but I think anything that we do, goes back to, it reminds us where we came from.
That's amazing, Raj. Amazing. See, there's so much of nostalgia and everything you said just now. It just got me
Yeah,
goosebumps to think that, we all were in the same ecosystem and now we're back again talking to each other.
yeah.
For those who are looking to innovate in the healthcare space that you have been a champion of, what advice would you give to younger entrepreneurs aiming to create meaningful technological solutions that impact patient care?
Yeah, I think what I've learned over the years is basically really understanding healthcare operations is going to be key, because what we're really doing is automating a process. So I think a lot of young entrepreneurs might not understand, all the different steps that are taken to admit a patient. or discharge a patient, or the operations that make a particular care event successful. So I think if you really understand the process, then you can apply the right kinds of technology to automate it. I think that from an envisioning standpoint of view, the process re-engineering helped me at least a lot. And then I think it's also the ability to build something that can show value in a short order. Because healthcare, if it takes a year or 2 years to actually show some return on investment, that might be too long. So picking the right use cases or projects to actually be able to show some immediate value, whether it's on the patient side or the caregiver side, is also important. And then I think some of finding the right hospitals or the insurance companies as your partners to kind of debug your methodology. But I do think this, at the end of the day, there's so much opportunity for technology in the healthcare space. Just like the next 10 years are going to be great. I'm so excited for all these young entrepreneurs that are actually starting to start businesses now in healthcare. It's just going to be awesome for them. So I think it's the best time to be in health tech, and the best time to innovate and create businesses.
That's so wonderful, so inspiring, Raj. You're still young. The night is still young. You have a long way to go and lots more to do. But I would be failing if I did not ask you about your siblings. You have the most amazing family. A father who was much beyond himself in creativity. A mother, even who today is an icon and a businesswoman, having been a doctor all her life also. You have a sister who was an excellent athlete and today a leading doctor in the USA, and a very sweet brother. Many of us would remember him as an actor, Chakri, from
Yeah.
a Kamala Hassan film way back. How was growing up with these lovely siblings? I used to always watch the three of you, a very close knit family. Did this help in any way in grooming you as what you are today, a wonderful person?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think my siblings, I think, first of all, I think my sister is stronger than Chakri and I, hands down. So she's actually in the Bay Area. She's an endodontist. She runs multiple practices, and she has two kids. Both are in medical school. So at least her family is all in medicine. Chakri, I think from 2008 to 2018, he went back to direct some movies and came back to do health tech again. And he actually has a beautiful company that he just sold. So I'm very happy for my siblings there. They inspire me, and I'm sure I inspire them at some level. Growing
Yes,
up,
Raj.
uh,
Yes, yes. It's amazing. Raj, when I told my audience, I have a small group of friends and audience. When they asked me who was going to be in the hot seat, when I dropped your name, they did their homework. And I understand that there are questions just coming in for me to ask you, but I would ask Uzwal of the Blue Tick, who manages me, to kindly come in now. Uzwal, if you are there, kindly ask those one or two pertinent questions, and I'm sure the kids out there will understand that answers are also available all the time, anytime, but these are the questions that needed to be answered today.
okay.
Hi, great. It has been amazing to listen to you. And so there are a few questions from the group, and I will take a few of them has already been answered during the discussion today. What you
Mhm.
have said, you have shared. But still, I would like to go through three important questions. The first is, with your experience in the healthcare technology, what do you think are the biggest barriers to making healthcare more accessible, especially in countries like India? And how can technology help to overcome them?
Yeah, Uzwal, thank you again for hosting me. Um, I think, like I was mentioning to Meenakshi earlier, in India, especially in the remote villages, there's no access to certain specialties, certain doctors, and even medications in some cases. I think technology specifically, if you have, like the e-Sanjeevani project, if you are able to actually have somewhere you have a little kiosk or a booth where anybody can actually have a virtual clinic where they can go in and they can actually consult with a physician that's in the city, or basically have able to actually have virtual clinic hours on a regular basis. There's so many ways that technology can break down the barriers and kind of democratize access to care. And then also there's a lot of people, like, whether it's paperwork or literacy. So there's technologies like, while I'm speaking, like natural language processing, being able to guide the patient through some AI technologies to the right care setting, bringing the right provider to the patient in a timely manner. So I think there are multiple ways that you can actually help bridge those gaps through technology. So I would say AI and virtual care are probably top of mind for me because that's what I'm working on. But I also see that same type of issues even in the United States, where if you go to a remote village in the US, there's no specialists. So we actually
Oh,
bring the specialists virtually from a city, a hub, and then we actually have virtual interactions, like whether it's an ICU care or stroke. So tell a stroke, within 2 minutes, you need to be able to respond to somebody that has stroke. So we are doing that virtually today. So those are the things I think will help move the needle.
It's very inspiring to hear that, and I hope in the coming days things will be much better for
Mhm.
every place. And the next question is about mentorship and guidance.
Mhm.
And throughout your career, you have been there, and I'm sure there have been many people who have been mentoring and guiding you uh, in your success. How important is mentorship for you? And right now, where you are standing, are you actively mentoring new age entrepreneurs? And if yes, how to access you and how someone can get help from you and guidance from you?
Yeah. So yes, I always have a pool of advisors. I build advisory boards. I lean on industry pundits. I mean, that's something that all of us do. So I think we have some great mentors that I've had throughout my career. I am particularly passionate about coaching and mentoring entrepreneurs. So I have a entrepreneur internship every summer I run, and I have about 30 odd kids in my program, and they come from, some of them might be coming from Harvard, but some of them might be coming from a community college. So and we have even virtual um, uh, internships.
session.
I actually sponsor some kids from YZAG. They come to the US, so we are accessible. I'm happy to share, where they can actually apply, ask questions. And the class of interns that I've actually graduated for the last maybe 17 years, they have the same passion. So we have created about 27 tech millionaires through this internship program. So I'm super proud about like how we can actually it's give back to the next generation. So we're more than happy to share some more information and how we can help anybody
That
that wants to get into this field.
That's really amazing. And for everyone who's listening to us, who will be listening when this show is getting premiered, I would like to inform everyone that we will be putting those informations in the description of this video, and anyone can get the information and take it forward and get benefited by it. We will take it from Mr. Raj and put it in the description, and you can always get benefited from it. Look for the description over there to get all the informations. Now I will go to the last question. you know Good, happy, and difficult times
Mhm.
move side by side. I'm sure with all the happy moments and all the glories and the happiness all together, there have been difficult times in your journey as well. So what has these difficult times taught you, and what are the lessons that you have taken from them and taken it forward in your journey?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, there's without like it's just it's not how many times you fall down, but it's how many times you get up. So I think that probably any entrepreneur would tell you that. Um, I had tough times even after successfully selling 2 companies. Starting a third company was quite difficult, and basically taking the amount of risks I took. If I go back and look back, I think I'll probably do the same things again. But I think every lesson I learned, and every time my nose got bloodied, it was about how people lifted me up. So I think that's probably everybody would say that, but that's probably number one in my book. And obviously in personal life, I lost my dad when I was very young, and so I think my mom is still my mentor.
Yes.
I think that right. So I think those I think having family surround you, I think, and our friends, I think will always help you, through these phases. But that's probably a high level answer. But that's my answer.
I think it is very wonderfully said. And once again, thank you very much for being with us today. And over to Meenakshi right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. Thank you so much for being here. Raj, I remember my mother used to often tell me in 1952, when India was putting down its education policy, one Mr. A.L. Modiliyar was asked to sum up education for India. And 1952, mind you, he said, education is a botheration for the population of a nation whose major occupation is cultivation. I repeat, education is a botheration for the population of a nation whose major occupation is cultivation. I was aghast when I heard this, because today, so many years later, it is only because of education that you and I have been able to walk a road of difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we Indians, the entire diaspora, and all of us take the values of our country, the values of our upbringing, the love of our lives that we leave back across oceans, and the blessings of all our elders. And Raj, in seeing you grooming yourself so beautifully, I see exactly the importance of education in India. And if India is going to soon become the third important economy in the world, it will be because of brothers like you. And I thank you so much for adding to the pride of the diaspora. You guys have, I know it has been a struggle. You have come happily and put the flag of India very proudly and very clearly in every country you went to. This was the USA, but in every country we have brothers and sisters like you who tell the story of excellence. And for you from our country, India, I can only say, Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, may God bless you and may your tribe increase. Thank you, Raj.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi.